This is where food and football fever collide. Join me as I teach you food and drink fans around the world are eating while they watch the beautiful game. Here are 4 iconic dishes from countries playing in Brazil. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Chef Jonathan Collins. Have you caught football fever? Because my family certainly has. We've also caught an appetite. Every time there's a game, there's a group of people and they are hungry. So what I've got is I've got some dishes inspired by the countries that are in the finals. Now, I wish that I had predicted these final 4, but I'll let you in on a secret. I've been watching the games ever since they started weeks ago. Now, this German dish, you're going to fall in love with it. It's schnitzel, and you're saying that's a basic thing, and it's true. But there's great principles involved, and that's what I love to share. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a really simple topping. It's going to be mayonnaise based with horseradish and mustard, so it's going to be hot and creamy and perfect to go with this pan-fried pork. Now this schnitzel is pork, but you can do chicken, turkey, beef, whatever you want. Even vegetarian, you could use an eggplant. So let's get started. I've got a hot pan here. I'm going to put a little bit of butter. You don't need a lot of butter, but using butter will add a ton of flavor. I'm going to add some olive oil as well to raise the smoke point. And again, it's so that we have lots of flavor in the pan. And then I'm going to drop in some fresh thyme, which I just love. It's going to flavor that butter and just bring it to life. In with the fresh thyme, I've got some Vidalia onions, and we're going to saute those until they're nice and golden brown. A little bit of salt and pepper. Perfect. And those are away. Now I've got this pork loin. It's thinly sliced now, but when we pound it down, which is really easy, and you just take a clean sheet of plastic film and lay it down on a cutting board. And this is where you can get rid of some of that aggression from maybe a poor game. You throw it in and then cover it up. You can use a mallet or you can use a rolling pin and just simply work it across the piece of pork. What's great about this is it makes it thin and tender, but it also makes sure that it cooks really quickly, which is great on game day because you want it simple. And like I said, if you did lose an important match, it's a great way to get rid of some frustration. And that's as simple as it is. So that's one. Now, I've already got a couple here that are breaded. I'm going to do one more because I want you to get confident. Now remember, this could be a chicken breast, and I'm doing it on the plastic wrap, and with the rolling pin, knowing that I'm not going to contaminate the rolling pin. You see how easy that is? Perfect. Nice and thin. You can see the texture is beautiful. You can set those aside. Now, breading. Simple breading is 3 steps. And it's important to do them in the right order. We've got just some simple white flour, all-purpose flour, unbleached. We've got some eggs, 2 or 3 eggs whipped up nice and evenly, and some breadcrumbs. I've got some dry thyme and oregano, whatever seasoning you like. As a matter of fact, it's a good idea to also season the breading. So I always put a little bit of pepper in the breading as well as salt, and it just helps to make sure that it gets really well seasoned. So in it goes. Take your time, make sure that it's well coated. And what the flour does, just going to quickly check on my onions here. Oh, they look beautiful. You know what they need? They need a little bit of a deglaze. So I've got a nice German beer here. A little bit of beer in the pan. And look at that. Gorgeous. What's happening is it smells incredible. I'm bringing up some of the goodness off the bottom of the pan, and I'm beginning to develop that sauce, which I'm really excited about. I'm just going to let that beer evaporate off completely. When it's done evaporating, then I'm going to put it in the bowl to cool and then mix up that sauce. So back to breading. So a nice coating of flour into the egg mixture and then directly into the breadcrumbs. It's just that simple. And I like to get a good crust on there. Press it in. Very nice. You can see how easy and how quick that was. Let's do it one more time. So again, flour first, and again, this goes with all applications. It's a great way to bread all of your favorite dishes. My wife is from the South, and we have a tendency to bread and fry things occasionally. There we go. So again, flour, eggs, and into the breadcrumb mixture. Making sure I get lots of coverage. And look at that beautiful cutlet. Isn't that great? These onions are perfectly cooked now. I'm just going to put them in the bowl, let them cool off a little bit. What this is going to do is just give us a really, really nice fragrance and flavor, especially with that reduced beer, and it's going to make that sauce just incredible. Now look at all that goodness I've got left in the pan. That's going to transfer directly onto these cutlets as I saute them. So a little bit of butter again into the pan, about a tablespoon. And I'm going to do a couple tablespoons of olive oil. And again, I'm going to put a sprig of fresh thyme directly into the pan. That's going to flavor the oil and just give me just fantastic flavor. You can hear it popping as it starts to cook. I love it. Now, seasoning is important at this level again. We're going to make sure that we get lots of salt and pepper, and I'm seasoning the first side, and when I put it in the pan, I'm going to season again. Give this a bit of a stir. Oh man, I can smell the fragrance of that thyme. It's so incredible. That pan is good and hot, and it's really important that it's good and hot because I don't want the meat to boil. I want to make sure that I get a nice crisp crust. I'm going to lay that in right on top of the thyme. A little bit of salt again on the second side, and a little bit of pepper. I'm using kosher salt and some black pepper. It's going to be intensely flavored because we're going to pair it with that beautiful beer. So 2 in the pan, it's going to be about 2.5 minutes, and then we're going to turn it, only turn it once. You'll know it's ready when it's nice and brown and caramelized. And while that's cooking, we're going to assemble this awesome little sauce. So what I've got is I've got these onions, and I'm going to brighten it up with some lemon zest. I'm going to pull out the thyme that was in there. Now, I want the acidity of the juice, but I want the fragrance of the zest. So I'm going to use a zester, and I'm just going to make this turn. As I do, I'm just going to slightly turn that lemon. There we go. And you can see, and I can smell it, all that beautiful lemon fragrance is going directly into this sauce. I'm going to put a tablespoon of horseradish, and for yourself, it's going to depend on how hot you want it. And I'm going to put a tablespoon of whole grain mustard, which I really love. I love the texture, I love the pop, but the flavor of it is going to be just a perfect marriage. A few tablespoons of mayonnaise. And then we're going to give that a quick stir. And basically what we've created here is just a perfect topping. Remember the sandwich we're putting together, we've got these great buns. We're going to have pickles for astringency. We're going to have the sour cream, which is going to give us a nice, rich, creamy texture. It'll be perfect with this. These are ready to turn. You can see, oh, look at that. Gorgeous color. And again, the butter is what gives it flavor. It also gives it color, but it's a nice texture as well because I'm going to have that crisp outside and that nice, beautiful, tender inside. While those are finishing up, I'm gonna finish this sandwich, man. I'm gonna set up an assembly line here to show you how quickly we can put these together. Again, we're talking about game day here, so let's not muss around with this. We're gonna take and we're gonna spread some of this beautiful topping right on the lid of each sandwich. Oh man, the schnitzel smells so good. I can't wait to take a bite out of one of these beauties. There we go. So we've got this lovely topping on each one. Now I chose arugula as a bed because arugula is really peppery. I could just use an iceberg lettuce, but instead with the arugula, I've got an additional level of flavor. And that's one thing you're doing when you're building flavors, when you're making great food. You want to look at where can I get more flavor? Where can I get more texture? How can I improve this dish? We take something that's fairly simple and straightforward and we elevate it. Let's check one last time on these. They're nearly finished. So I've got these that I've just wrapped up just before. Look at that. We got that beautiful thyme. Gorgeous. Got some fresh tomatoes. Tomatoes are going to be, add a bit of freshness. It's deep fried, or pan fried, so it's going to be a little bit heavier. So we really want to brighten up the flavors. And these are all done now. Set those right on. Oh, yum. Tomatoes. I know that everybody in the other room are going to just flip out when they see this, because this is satisfaction. Satisfaction because you've taken the time to, have a look at what's going on in terms of cuisine from another country. You can experiment a little bit, have a little bit of fun, and you know what? The family really appreciates it. When you have the time, family or friends, they appreciate it when you take the time. They know there's some, I'm gonna save that one for myself actually. I'm gonna pour myself a cold one here. We've got some gorgeous Erdinger beer from Germany. Do a nice cold pour. You see I've got that awesome football fever cup there. Oh, gorgeous. Isn't that awesome? Oh, it's so good. You have the nice texture of the bread, the beautiful meat, which cooks so quickly. And let's wash it down with some suds. Go Germany, go. Best of luck. And thank you for the schnitzel. Perfect.